GST Practitioner, section 48. See, these are like small topics here. GST Practitioner, all these are useful for MCQs mainly. GST Practitioner is a person who can undertake certain activities on behalf of the registered person. So, for interaction with the GST network or for communication with the GST department, he is entrusted with certain activities. Number one, he can apply for registration. He can apply for registration. He can file GST returns. So, first he can apply GST registration. He can apply, that is enrollment, like registration application he can file. He can file the returns, and he can make the payment of taxes and apply for refund, and he can act as an authorized representative. Apart from these four activities, he can furnish the details of e-way bill, number 5, and he can furnish the details of goods sent on job work, ITC 4. He can file an application for amendment or cancellation of enrollment. There is something called as unique enrollment number, so which is given to every transporter or warehouse keeper, even though their aggregate turnover does not exceed threshold limit. Say this: every transporter or warehouse keeper, every transporter or warehouse keeper should obtain unique enrollment number UEN, even though their aggregate turnover does not exceed their aggregate turnover does not exceed threshold limit. Even though their aggregate turnover does not exceed threshold limit. Every transporter or warehouse keeper should obtain unique enrollment number even though their aggregate turnover does not exceed the threshold limit. Okay. So, once it exceeds the threshold limit, they need to register. Okay. So, furnish information for generation of e-way bill, furnish details of challan in form GST ITC 4, file an application for amendment or cancellation of enrollment under Rule 58, and file intimation to pay tax under composition scheme or withdraw from composition scheme. These are the 8 activities that a GST practitioner can do. Beyond this, they cannot do anything else. They can give expert opinions. No, they cannot give expert opinions. And they can do all the compliance part. That's the reason why the future of chartered accountants who are practicing in GST compliance area is very bleak because of this GST practitioners. Any person, any Tom, Dick and Harry can now undertake the GST compliance work. So if at all a chartered accountant role is there, that role is only in advisory and litigation, but in compliance lot of other people are taking over. Okay. Next, sir, what are the eligibility conditions? So that GST practitioner should be citizen of India. So as if foreign citizens don't have any work, they will come and do it. So person of sound mind and not adjudged as insolvent, not been convicted by competent court for an offence with imprisonment not less than 2 years. So these are the conditions. So which means convicted, not been convicted by a competent court for an offence with imprisonment not less than 2 years, means more than 2 years. Up to 2 years, if he is convicted, it's okay. Yes, it's okay. He can become a GST practitioner. Okay. Then responsibility for correctness of particulars. Who is responsible for the correctness of particulars? Logically, GST practitioner, but no. Registered person is responsible. For all the returns which are filed by the GST practitioner, the responsibility is not on the GST practitioner but on the registered person. Means every time the return is filed, the GST practitioner should share the information with the registered person. Upon registered person's approval, GST practitioner will file. So this is something bullshit. The responsibility for correctness of any particulars furnished in the return shall continue to rest with the registered person. Shall continue to rest with the registered person on whose behalf such return and details are furnished. Any statement furnished by GST practitioner shall be available to the registered person on the common portal. And for every statement furnished by GST practitioner, a confirmation should be sought through email or SMS. Suppose if no confirmation is received, deemed acceptance. Okay. So that is this here.